Hey everyone, how you doing? It's 2016, July 1st, Canada Day, and I decided I'd take a little walk out in the bush today and show you something that I discovered a little while ago. I watched a lot of videos on people making their own fatwood and stuff like that using pine or cedar or something like that, you know, and then the pine sap. And I was playing around with some different things one day, and I came across the polypore fungus that grows on the birch tree. You know, there's three different kinds of funguses that grow in the birch, and the common one is the horsehoof fungus. This one here, the polypore fungus, and then also your chaga. And I'm going to show you a neat little trick with this. I call it fatwood fungus kind of thing, and it works the same way as your normal fungus, but I find it burns longer, and as far as I'm concerned, I think it's rainy today. There's a thunderstorm rolling around, so hopefully I won't have to do this in two parts, and if I do, well then I will. But I'll pull some of this off. It's a little dry right now. I think the best time to collect this would be in the springtime, when it's a little more moist. We've had a really dry summer, and everything's drying out. Like this one here, it's really dry, and this one's dry. But and I'll take it back and I'll show you. I have some already that I've saved up and I've collected. But anyways, if you do happen to come across some, you can collect it and take it home and prepare it and try it for yourself. Like I said, I think it works pretty good. Okay, so like I was saying, this is the polypore fungus that grows on the birch tree, and when I was coming back here, I grabbed this too. That's your horsehoof fungus, just in case you're wondering. I don't know if this works. It's definitely not the same material, I guess you'd say. I don't know. You could try it and it might work. I don't know. We all know it does have its uses, but in this case, all I know is this, because this is all I've done. So this is what it looks like, and I know you've probably all seen it before. And this stuff's pretty dry. Normally when you collect it, like in the springtime, it's almost like styrofoam, sort of. And to cut it, you need a pretty sharp knife to cut through it, because it's like cutting styrofoam. So something like, you know, you need something sharp, obviously, and then something really thin, like the thicker, maybe if you're trying to use your bushcraft knife or something like that, you'll get through it and whatnot. But it's a lot easier to slice into smaller chunks with a thinner blade knife. When you do get it into your thin chunks, I laid it out on a cookie sheet in the windowsill for a bit and just cut up little pieces of it, and really it feels like styrofoam in your hand kind of thing. It has no weight to it at all, and you just let that dry out in the sunlight for a little bit and that's it. So you also need the sap off of a pine tree, and again I've collected this in the springtime. It's just a good size kind of a brick of it, and it's somewhat pliable. You can, I'll just break a little chunk of it off here. Smells good. And you'll need an old frying pan or something, an old pot, something that you're not going to use for anything else ever again, and just start melting your the pine sap. And you got to watch too when you're heating this stuff up to try and do it over like a low flame kind of thing, because it will ignite. You know, this, I'm going to try and keep this down in here, but it will want to flare up on you, and I don't recommend doing it in the house at all. You know, if you have one of these little stoves or any propane little stove or something like that, just do it outside. It's probably the safest place. Like I said, if you've watched videos on people how they make their own fatwood, you know, it's a lot the same, but like I said, I think this in the end I think this is better. I have tried it both ways. I have some of the homemade fatwood with me right now, and I burned both of them kind of thing of equal chunks, and the polypore fungus burns longer and better. I better go get my gloves for this. I'll be right back. When you get your sap good and hot and you haven't set anything on fire, you can go ahead and put the fungus in. When I went to get the gloves, I came back, it was on fire, so you can't walk away from this stuff. It happens fast. So I just set it right in, a couple pieces at a time, maybe 3. And you just stir them around. And this stuff really, really soaks it up. Like it's just like a sponge. The more liquidy you can get your sap to, it'll penetrate right through. Sometimes you can break it in half after, and sometimes it'll be all the way through solid, and other times you'll still have a little bit of the white in the center of it, which is fine. So I just keep rolling it around in there. If I have to add more sap, then I will. Like I said, it really, really sucks it up. You have to have quite a bit of sap. You know, and I imagine you could use wax. I haven't tried wax yet. I might do that. You know, just impregnate this stuff with wax and just see what it does. I imagine it would work good too. Be a nice, neat little trick to do. So these ones are more than done. I'm just rolling them around in here for the hell of it. Okay, I'll take these out and I'll let them dry, and then I'll show you what they look like and what they do. So this is what the pieces look like after they're cooled down. They have, you can just pick off the loose stuff that's around. I usually just put a glove on or grab a couple of them together. rub it. Breaks off just the loose pieces. So you can put two of them together and rub them together. If you hear that, it sounds like glass, eh? Or, I don't know if you can hear that, but... And they're hard. And they weigh nothing still. But I thought, you know, if you were a canoeer going on like a week or 2 week canoe down some river, and the weather turned on you, and you were caught out in the rain, and then it rained for the next 3-4 days or whatever, it'd be really hard to find some dry tinder. But if you had some of this stuff made up already, you know, it holds the flame for a really, really long time. And it would sure help in a situation like that, just to have a few of these pieces even in your pocket, or throw them in your bag somewhere, you know. I just make a few up at a time, just like that, like 2 or 3 pieces when I'm out or when I run out. And yeah, that's what it looks like when it's done. I just throw it in the bag, and that's it. And sometimes if you don't leave it in really long, or you're near the end and it starts to get really thick, you know, when you get your pieces in there at the very beginning and it's really liquidy, it really soaks them up. Those will probably be your best pieces. The pieces near the end that you're just kind of, you know, throwing them in at the last minute there and using up whatever's left, they're still hollow, or not hollow, but it didn't soak through fully all the way. It's about I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch or just less around the outside of it, and then the inside of it's still that just the fungus. But it has a purpose too, actually, and I'll show you that in a minute. So if you noticed in the beginning there, when I lit the firebox, I lit the pan, and I actually used a piece of this fat fungus, and I lit it and I put it right on the fan, or the pan, sorry, and then I slid the pan underneath it, and it lit the firebox from the bottom up. And it seems to work quite well doing it that way, and using a piece of this or whatever, as opposed to lighting it and letting it burn down. It's a lot quicker when you start at the bottom and it just roars up into flame, sort of thing. So if you're in a hurry and you need to get a fire going quick and get it burned down to a point where you can cook on it, I just light it from the bottom. But there was the one other thing here I wanted to show you before I let you go. You can use it, hopefully the wind doesn't blow it out. Even works good as a candle at night or something like that. You know, some of it does drip, so if you just want to stick a stick through the piece of fungus or whatever, catch the drips. But I like it. I think it's fun to do, and you know, it's neat to try different things. You know, I get a little sick and tired of seeing the same old people doing the same old things. You know, if somebody puts out a fatwood how-to video or whatever, you know, the next 10 guys are doing the exact same thing. So, you know, it's just you know, we got to remember just to still think outside the box, sort of. You know, if you see one guy doing it, you know, that's fine, but it's not the end-all say-all. You know, there's always different ways to do things, and that's what I like the most about YouTube is seeing those guys that do try different things, you know, and just don't get stuck in the rut of this is the only way to do something, and don't let anybody tell you that if you're not doing it this way, then you're not doing it right. You know, we won't learn like that if that's the mentality of people. So just try things your own way and experiment, and then if you come up with something that's cool, throw it out there for the rest of us, you know. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for your time, all right?